Paula, that's a great question. It really comes down to where are you going to get the best value? At AeroStar, we've created our programs to provide our customers with the best value. AeroStar offers more simulators. We have 4 Level D full flight simulators for the A320. We have 4 Level D full flight simulators for the Boeing 737 in 2 really good locations in South Florida, one in Orlando and one in Miami. We employ professional instructors, not that are just wanting to instruct, but that have a passion for helping people's career dreams take flight. These are pilots that have years of experience serving as first officers, captains, check airmen, and instructors on the airplanes that we provide training for. I think the other thing is, if you really care for your students, you care for your customers, and you have a passion for helping them, you're going to do everything you can to make their training experience a better one. At AeroStar, our focus is on our students, and we believe that that makes us a better value over any other of our competitors. Well, one of the things you have to be careful when you're shopping for a simulator provider for type rating, and we do strongly encourage customers to do their due diligence, to shop, look at who else is out there. We'll clearly help you to identify who else is out there that offers the same services that we do. If they have a single simulator, consider this. What happens when that simulator has a mechanical problem? What's their remediation plan? Here at AeroStar, we've been blessed with the fact that we have 4 devices, Level D devices, for each one of the type ratings that we offer. We don't have the service interruptions and schedule interruptions that many of our competitors unfortunately suffer with.
Dave, what is your success rate at AeroStar with students?
Our latest numbers show that 97% of our type rate students graduate on time and on budget. That's very important to us, but it's also important for us to look at the 3% that didn't graduate on time and on budget. Out of that 3%, we find that some students do require additional training because the way they learn, their learning rate is just a little bit different. Maybe their learning style is a little bit different. One of the great things about the way we've designed our programs is our remediation training plan. We understand that students learn at different rates, so we've deployed tools that allow us to provide additional training in the classroom at no additional cost to the student when we feel we can adequately address their training needs. We always try to provide additional training at no additional cost to try to get the student successful on their check ride the first time around. Our competitors don't really have that opportunity. They're going to take a student back into the simulator, very expensive device to be learning in, and they're going to just keep doing it until they get it right. That's great, but not when it's costing you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars an hour for the additional time. At AeroStar, even though we have 3% of our students that don't graduate on time, only a small fraction of them end up having to pay additional money to complete their training. We provide it using our technology-based training without them incurring additional costs. When we spend time in the classroom, it's important to use technology to its fullest. At AeroStar, we use a computer-based cockpit simulation tool that allows us to actually free play every light, switch, indicator, display in the cockpit. We can shoot approaches in our classroom. We can enter holds, intercepts, run emergencies. Literally, Paula, we can do everything that the student would do during their training in the sim or on the check ride, and we can do it in the classroom before they ever get to the simulator. Well, I was always raised with the understanding that be careful of the person who's got the lowest price, because you get what you pay for. What we need to focus on is the best value. You don't want to overpay, nobody does. But we also want to make sure that we're maximizing our return on our investment. Why do we spend so much money going to the right school? Because the right education is going to help our career, and the return on that investment is going to pay off in our success. A type rating is no different. Finding the right school that's going to meet your needs is going to help advance your career in such a way that the return on investment, it's going to pay for itself in very short time. So as I encourage customers who are calling for the first time, look at the other schools, shop around, remember you get what you pay for. If somebody's the lowest price, there's a reason. Look for the best value. At AeroStar, my partner and I, who are passionate about aviation, believe that we've offered the best training package for our customers at the best value.
Why should I get a type rating now rather than simply trying to get a job with an airline and letting them pay for my type rating, or maybe waiting for the economy to improve or waiting for something else to happen? Why should I get a type rating now?
Why is it more important now than ever? As you are aware, Boeing Aircraft Company has published their recent pilot shortage estimates over the next 10 years, and the numbers are staggering. And it's not just me. The Wall Street Journal, the USA Today, all of the aviation trade publications, we are finally seeing the results of a pilot shortage. And this isn't just a shortage, it's a tsunami. So why is a type rating now going to help us advance our careers? Paula, it's all about number one, getting the job. How are you going to give yourself a leg up over the competition, the competitors? Very much like you go to a really good school, you go and get a really good, well-recognized type rating because it's going to give you an advantage at the interview. And that advantage is going to get you the job sooner. If you get the job sooner, as an airline pilot, I can tell you that once you're hired on with an airline, it's all about date of hire seniority. Whether you come to AeroStar or whether you do a type rating at one of our competitors, you need to do it to get the job sooner than later. Now I'll give you an example. Let's say a 22-year-old college graduate comes to AeroStar, completes our type rating program, and is able to go directly into the application process and successfully hired by Philippine Airways or Nile Air or any of the overseas airlines that are looking for qualified applicants. By getting hired now, during the front end of this pilot shortage, you're going to have the opportunity for advancement prematurely. You could see captain upgrade in 3 to 5 years. And over the lifetime of your career, this equates to millions of dollars, or equivalent millions of dollars in US dollars, to someone who gets hired at the front of a pilot shortage versus somebody who waits too long and gets hired on the back end of the pilot shortage.
This illustration shows the dramatic difference between a pilot who gets a type rating from AeroStar on the red line and a pilot who follows a traditional career path on the green line. You'll notice that the AeroStar pilot begins at a much higher salary since he starts right away as a first officer and advances to captain in 5 years. After 10 years as a captain at Qatar Airways, he gets a job with Southwest Airlines. Our second pilot spends a couple of years building time as an instructor pilot with very low pay. This pilot also gets hired at Qatar Airways as a first officer, then works his way up more slowly through the ranks of first officer, senior first officer, and then captain. This pilot is also hired by Southwest Airlines with 10 years of experience at Qatar Airways. But you'll see that he never quite catches up. There's a significant difference in their salaries that lasts for a lifetime.
So how do you make your resume stand out over the 100 or 200 other resumes that airline is looking at? The way you make it stand out in a positive way is do things that are going to make you less of a training risk and more of a training benefit to your prospective airline. That means an advanced aircraft type rating. Who would you hire if you were the interviewer? Would you hire somebody with an aircraft type rating or without one? I know the cost is never easy. It's never easy on anybody. But would you spend $13,000 to make millions over the life of your career? Ask somebody else. Ask a banker. Ask a businessman. Ask your family. Is it a sound investment to spend $13,000 with the potential return of millions? They're going to tell you anything you can do to get hired early and advance your career, it's going to be your best option for success. I'll give you an example. If an airline right now is going to bring on 200 new aircraft, if you don't get hired on with that airline during the front end of them taking delivery of those airplanes, then you are going to be in the FO side of the equation for many, many years. You need to get hired on early so that you have the ability to advance into the left seat as the airline is growing. If you miss that curve and you get on what we all know as pilots is the backside of the power curve, you can spend a career as an FO and never get the opportunity to advance to captain.
Waiting to catch up. And you see that wave is coming with the pilot shortage.
I do, Paula, and that's really based on what's being published in the USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, recent statistics put out by Boeing Aircraft, which said that there's going to be such a huge demand for pilots worldwide over the next 10 years that there's insufficient capacity to prepare them. The problem is, that's great. It's going to help people get into the industry, but you've got to get in at the beginning of this pilot shortage to really be able to take advantage of riding the tsunami to success.
Right. I understand that there's getting to be quite a bit of growth globally in airlines, and there's a lot of opportunity overseas that wasn't there 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Well, that's right. Boeing Aircraft Company recently put out statistics that show there's just explosive growth in the aviation industry and the airline industry. If you look at the number of new Boeing and Airbus aircraft on order, it's not hard to see that the industry is in explosive growth over the next 10 years. Now, 3/4 of that growth is outside of North America. It's in Asia, it's in Europe, it's in Africa, it's in South America. There's opportunities that have never been there before for folks all over the world to really enjoy this tremendous career field.
But given that a lot of these airlines and a lot of these pilot positions are going to be in India, Africa, South America, and so on, you probably have a lot of students coming from overseas as well.
We have a lot of students that come from various parts of the world, and we're very proud of that. We've placed pilots, our graduates are flying for airlines in India, Egypt, Korea, China, Australia, South America, Africa, and Europe. So we've had great success seeing our customers really advance their career and watch their careers take off with flying overseas.
One of the things that I've heard from students, especially those who come from other countries, is that at some schools it's difficult to fit in for a foreign student. And if English isn't their first language, they sometimes have difficulty with getting into the training and getting the most out of it. I know AeroStar has a large number of foreign students, and they seem to love it. So what's the difference? What do you do differently?
Well, first of all, I think what we do differently over all of our competitors is we truly care about our customers. They're pilots to us, and it's a brotherhood of aviators that's a worldwide brotherhood. Because we care about people, we try to go the extra mile to address what are their concerns, what are their difficulties, really what are their pains, and how do we best help them to address those. Examples, we do have visa authority, so we help our customers by obtaining training visas so they can come into the country. We help set up their accommodations. We understand, hey, if you're coming a long ways and it's away from your home country, things may be a little intimidating. We'll do the heavy lifting for you. We'll set up the hotels. We provide transportation to and from our facilities to take that piece and make it easier for the transportation. We really offer a number of different programs targeted at different levels of experience and where the customer's needs are. We have a standard traditional program, we have an expanded program, and we have a distant learning program. The distant learning program uses some state-of-the-art internet-based learning tools that allow you to really complete the systems portion of the aircraft training ground school anywhere in the world, from home, from your PC, while you're working. The advantage to that is it's, number one, very easy and simple to follow. You can back it up, you can replay it. It's all being tracked and monitored by a learning management system. It quizzes you along the way, provides you great graphics and pictures, and it's interactive, which is very important. However, for some students, they really want the experience of a classroom setting. So the distant learning piece is really aimed for those that like doing computer-based learning, and there's a cost advantage to them, less days away from home, less travel, hotel, all of those things, days away from work. The traditional classroom-based training, this is longer, but it does offer interactive classroom that is unique to AeroStar. You're not going to see this from most 142 providers. You can't learn how to type on a typewriter by looking at a PowerPoint slide presentation.
Right.
They're static. We went with a virtual, a complete cockpit simulation, aircraft simulation classroom presentation system that allows us to, in the classroom, flip every switch, see what the indications are, hear what the warning tones are. It's an entire cockpit simulated on a computer right in the classroom. We use those tools to accomplish the expanded or our standard ground school training programs. So we really have a package that's going to fit everybody's needs. One of our goals is to identify what's going to work best for you and make sure that we have the right tool to fit your needs. And that's why I say it's not about us, it's all about the student. What's going to help them to succeed?
One of the things I really liked about the PC-based system that you guys use is that you can play with that as much as you want outside of the classroom or outside of your school situation. So if there's something you're having difficulty with, you can go over it and over it and over it until you feel comfortable before you ever show up for your simulator training.
You know, that's one of the things that I love about this system too, is I've done a number of simulator events over my lifetime where the 4-hour simulator block is scheduled one block after another. So when your 4 hours is up, the quarters are up, you have to get out of the sim. And here you are, the student going, oh, if I could just do that approach one more time, I would have it down. This full cockpit simulation tool isn't just a cockpit, it flies. So you're in a virtual flying environment. You can shoot approaches, holds, intercepts. It has the nav database pretty much for the world. So you can actually go out of the sim, back to your own hotel room. And if you've opted for that package, and it is one of the packages that we offer, you'll have that as a memory stick, plugs into your laptop, and you can be in your hotel room shooting the exact same approach that you were practicing in the simulator, except you can do it over and over and over again. What's the first phase of learning? It's repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. This tool allows you to take 4 hours of simulator time and magnify it as if it was 6, 8, 10 hours without the cost of being in that sim.
Right.
Why AeroStar? Number one, I believe we offer the best value of any 142 type rate training organization in the country. I say that with confidence because we have 2 great locations. We've got the most simulator time available, 4 level Ds for each one of our aircraft fleets. and we've got a dedicated, passionate team of instructors who have experience, who have the ability to share their success to make our students the best qualified type rate pilots on that piece of equipment. Bottom line, I think the number one reason is that we have passion to help your aviation career dreams take flight.